morning, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. Got everybody in the house. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey, the Phillies won.
At least you sound excited about it. You're like,
yeah, you know.
Listen, I was up in New York last night for that game, and hey, we might as well just jump right in on it. You know what I mean? Let's just go. I felt like that the Sixers did a lot right in the first half, and in the second half, just didn't come out with the same game plan.
Yep.
And in the process of that, you had Towns in foul trouble. He had 4 fouls within the first. I want to say he only played like 6 to 8 minutes in the first half. Had 4 fouls. So what does that tell me? That tells me that when he starts to play in the second half, you drive towards him, have him create more fouls, and they let him off the hook.
Yeah,
I felt like that there was just, they didn't do that at all. And why not? Why weren't they doing it? It's like, well, I mean, they changed the defense a little bit. The Knicks did. The Knicks were able to combat it a lot better. They definitely did some adjustments in the halftime that stymied the Sixers a little bit. So they weren't able to drive as much anymore. And I slowly watched how we went from 60% from the arc, but most of the shots weren't coming from the arc. So like every time they had an open look, they made it, and then to starting to heave balls up and take bad shots. And you just can't do that, unfortunately. Not in the playoffs and not against this team. Then I watched how the Knicks defense just started to have the Sixers shoot bad shots.
Yeah.
And ultimately, when you shoot bad shots, a couple will go in, but most of them will not.
Yeah.
And they just, they didn't live by the 3 ball. They went into the paint and scored a lot of points. And Towns just took over the game.
Yeah. I mean, it was
a weird fourth quarter to only come out with 12 points for the fourth quarter after cruising along, for most of the game.
That went with the defense. That was part of the defense of the Knicks. They were not giving the lanes like they were before.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy sitting next to me was really knowledgeable about basketball, and we were kind of going back and forth. And we felt initially that the referees were calling really soft fouls. In the first half, it was very like anything happened. There was, I'll even say in a couple of plays that the Sixers got a foul call on, for them, like that the Knicks fouled. I was like, they weren't fouls. That I thought that the refs were swaying for the Sixers. And I made the joke to him. I said, listen, the NBA wants this to go 7 games. Without Embiid, they're going to hedge our side. And he kind of believed me after that, watching the first half. It was like everybody was getting fouls called on them. And they were really ticky-tack fouls. Like it was not like, and I'm saying this as a Sixers fan,
right,
against the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, wow, like there were like non-existent fouls being called, for the Sixers, which like I said, I have to be happy about. But then you got to make your foul shots.
Yeah.
You cannot be shooting 67% from the foul line. You got to make those foul shots.
Yeah, nobody's afraid of a team that's only hitting, 70 or less from the line.
Right. And like every single point is necessary against this team.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have Embiid. And he was a scratch. I mean, I heard about that around 3:00 in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. The line jumped from 7.5 to 10.5. And also from 240 to 340. And I was like, well, $340 plus 340 that's maybe easy money, because I thought that the Sixers were going to win. And I thought that the NBA and that the referees, like I said, I thought that the referees were going to hedge our way. I didn't think it was going to be so egregious in the first half. I really felt that the Knicks were getting boned a little bit with the way that they were calling games. At one point, it was like 8 fouls on the Knicks to 1 foul on the Sixers. Like, it was so egregious. And I'm like, okay, and I'll take it, because we're going to need everything we can get. Right. Second half, they did not call it that way.
Yeah.
So it was that they put away the whistles somewhat. There was still soft calls on both sides. And I'm like, this isn't a playoff game. Like, the playoff games, the whistle should go away a little bit.
Right.
But
you got to give us the playoffs.
And you can get boned picking the Sixers right here, too. I'll
take that. 125% cash back on your first 3 deposits.
Coffee delivery. I like it. And if you would have bet that I started the show without coffee, you would have been right. You would have won big on that one.
It was it was just they did play well. I mean, like I said, the first half went really well. Both the centers got in foul trouble. Drummond wound up ending with 5 fouls. Bona went in there and he had 4 fouls on him pretty quickly. That they went to their third string center, who played pretty well. Like, I played better than I expected him to play, but there's no way to guard Towns. So much so that they had to switch off. George had to start to cover Towns, which was a little better. He wasn't able, like George Towns was just like, it was like, and that reminded me of old school basketball, because he just backed him down and then just put the shot up. And it was just, and then I saw they weren't hitting their threes until about the fourth quarter, where they started to be able to get a lot better open looks. Like, any open look that they had that they got contested pretty quickly, they were missing in the first half and in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, the Sixers weren't getting they weren't contesting them. So they found the open guy. He had a second to be able to get themselves together, put the shot up, and it would go in. And then there was one sequence where the Sixers, it reminded me of the Boston sequence, where Boston got 4 offensive rebounds and the Knicks did the same thing. And I was just like, this was the beginning of the end, is what I thought. Like, when that's a demoralizing situation. And then they only got 2 points, which after 4 offensive rebounds, to get only up 2 points, not give the 3 ball up, it was like, okay, we're okay. You know what I mean? You can go back down and answer. The first time they did that, they answered right away with a 2-point play. So it was tied 2-2 after those 4 rebounds. They went back and they just answered very quickly. The second time that happened, they did not answer. They had a turnover. And I felt like that started the downward spiral. That once the Knicks got the lead and we didn't come back and answer, and then they extended the lead, it was just like, ooh, this is the start of the beginning of the end.
Yeah. But even in that, I mean, you look at that fourth quarter, it's just an ugly quarter. The Knicks still only scored 19. If you have an average quarter, you're fine. Like, you just can't fall off a cliff and hit 12. That's a point a minute.
but you got to give the Knicks a lot more credit than that. I mean, there was no lane for Maxey to drive. George started to put up bad shots. It was just like he's getting looks and the looks aren't the greatest shot. It's like, listen, you don't have to rush it. Figure it out. Slow it down a little bit. But they weren't doing it. And, when Towns wasn't in there was a lot of open space. The moment Towns was in there and they didn't get him in foul trouble, there was nowhere to go. They just, they protected him by any time that there was somebody going to go drive down the lane, because Maxey was doing it a lot in the first quarter, in the first half. I mean, the Sixers got a lot of points in the paint in the first half. And because of driving, because Towns wasn't there, because he got in foul trouble very quick. Mm-hmm. The moment he got there, then the Knicks protected him. So anytime it was like they tried to isolate a little bit, they had two guys on the one side, Maxey, but they had three Knicks over there and only two guys covering, because they knew what the Sixers were going to do. So they knew that you had to get through two more people. One of the plays that happened right at me, kind of, I was sitting behind where the Sixers were shooting in the second half. And Maxey tried to slip in between, I think it was Brunson and Towns. And they were so close, he smacked them and turned the ball over. And it was just like, they just were not giving up that space, and it killed them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and turnovers are always killer.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Anytime you lose the turnover battle is rough.
Yeah. So they did play really well without Embiid. Yes. Embiid in this game probably would have made the difference. Even a 70% Embiid probably would have made the difference. It's just, oh my Lord, Frankie. Oh my Lord. That I can't tell you. I had to redo. I'm a one take guy. Everybody knows I do one take. I had to do 3 or 4 takes because I kept cursing.
That'll happen.
They had the Lincoln Tunnel, like they were sending people all over God's creation to get to the Lincoln Tunnel. And I could have probably went all the way across town to the George Washington Bridge and made it over faster. Yes, Frankie, you are correct. So that just compounded, at the end of the game where you can't leave the stadium, and and there's a rumor going around that Knicks fans could be worse fans than Eagles fans.
Okay.
That the way that they're treating people and the way that they're dealing with people and stuff like that. Not in the game, but outside of the game.
Well, so that actually makes some sense, right? Because you always get that act like you've been there before, and they're like, we haven't.
So it was like I said, they played well. It gives me some hope for this series as they come back home. I think that the Sixers could win both games at home here.
Right.
But they have to come up with a better answer in the fourth quarter, when Towns is taking up too much space.
Yeah.
And that's for real. It's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah. Until that fourth quarter, I thought you guys had the game. Like I know it was close still, even going into the fourth. But I felt you guys keeping it close and finding out you're losing Embiid that late, because that's always been one of my things. If you're going to not have Embiid, have it be like the Boston series where well in advance, not hour. And maybe they knew before, before the official announcement.
I feel like that was gamesmanship. Like, hey, now we don't have Embiid. Let's give them as little amount of time as possible to prepare for that. I think they knew. So
that'd be my guess. My guess is they waited until they had to release the statement, but I bet everybody in the room knew.
He had a hip and an ankle. You know what I mean? So, which was a surprise because I thought it would be his knee.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that the knee wasn't even mentioned was like, okay. Or they just said, hey, it really is his knee, but let's say it's his hip and his ankle because that all hurts too.
Or let's just say it's everything. It's just Embiid.
Right.
He's got an Embiid.
Yes.
Because at this point, I mean, he carries, through the end of the Boston series, and you thought the blowout in game 1 would give him a little extra rest, but it's almost like, should they have just sat him the whole time? If this is the way, hindsight, of course, is 2020, but is it just a carryover from the Boston series? And he was already banged up to start this one anyway, for him to be out game 2. But it's just going to go back to the guys at all-world talent and never available. And you can't even get a full series out of them at this point. So what do you do going forward?
You use them when you need them. That's how I would go about it. Like, hey, in New York, it's more of a hostile territory. It's like we had plenty of time and plenty of chances to silence the crowd.
Yeah.
And they did not take advantage of any of those circumstances.
Right.
And I'm talking all game long. Like at the very beginning of the game, there was one point where it was like 15-6. And the next thing you know, it was 15-14.
Right. I remember.
And at that point, we went back down and then we hit a 3 and it was like 18-14. So it was like they never really got out of it, the Knicks. Mm-hmm. There was never a point where we got a big lead. And anytime where it would have been in our best interest to figure out how to put the ball in the net, to be able to silence the crowd even more so, we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I felt like that the Knicks knew, like even in the fourth quarter, it was like they knew that they had the best opportunity. And hey, it's like I said, I was talking to the guy next to me, and he was really he was very knowledgeable and very happy to realize that I wasn't a sports jerk. Because that's afraid, like, he read the book by his cover initially when I sat next to him. And I tell you, I
like that you immediately I look like a douche. Like,
and then, but like, they don't have man-sized seats on the, on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Those are small seats. So it was like big dude, me, and then, thank God I had Jody with me, which was, she's smaller, so I get to hedge onto her seat. So
yeah. No, the floor seats are always funny, right? Because they're already not big seats, but then they're the lock togethers. So you're just smashed in there. You might as well be on, an airplane.
Well, and that's it. Like somebody's up this way and somebody's back this way, so that we can get the whole thing going on.
People.
I did not. I just was expressing that he was reading the book by a cover, and he just didn't realize that it was a good book.
But the cover art is a problem. He's admitting that. Yeah, and you're probably right. Like Philly's not coming back, but
so you know what? Everybody said that about Boston too.
That's true. That's true.
And the other thing
no Tatum, I think, was the biggest issue for Boston, though.
Well, and I'm interested to see how Towns feels today.
Yeah, but only for one game. You got to give them credit for the comeback when Tatum was out there. They were down 3-1. They got it to 3-3. So
yeah, no question.
And then you could, if we're going to say that, then you can say, hey, not having Embiid for the beginning of the series is the reason why they also fell in a hole. So
yeah,
I don't worry about Boston's excuses, I guess.
So I mean, and I guess
everybody plays hurt too. So I mean, it's not like,
and that's exactly it. Towns in the very beginning of this game took a couple of bad spills.
Yeah,
like the first time, I think his leg got caught, and it was like a knee thing. And then the second time he fell, he was down for a couple of minutes. I say a couple of minutes, probably about a minute. You know what I mean? But where it was just, it took him a minute to get back up. So, and then of course he played the rest of the game, but he spent a lot of time on the bench in the first half. Second half, he looked fine. But I would be willing to see how he feels today.
yeah,
And how that may affect him moving forward. If there was some swelling or anything like that. I mean, when you're in game, like you're wrapped up anyways, so you have all that stuff. But
looks like the chat doesn't like anybody is playing in these games.
No, 100%. Yeah, they're burying everybody. Like it's, I mean, at that point, you could just say the NBA is soft, and nobody on this panel would disagree with you. Right. We'd be like, well, that's fair.
Yeah. Well, both the guys that you're mentioning, are known for flopping, and they're both, 3-point shooters as well. The game has changed. You would never usually have physical guys like that even know where the 3-point line is, right? They know where the 3-point line is when they're running down to the other side. That's it. Now, when you start to live on the perimeter a little bit and you're trying to draw fouls a lot, it's just the game has changed. I can't even blame either one of those two, because if it works, why go away from it? And it's the way the league is going. Why would I change my game? So
I agree, but I thought Towns only shot one 3-pointer, and it went right in. I was actually it caught me off guard. It was just like, wow, that was really smooth. It really was. I was just like, wow, that was unexpected for me, because he was starting to back them down. That's what he was doing. He's just start backing them down. You're underneath the basket, bink, score.
Yeah.
You know what
this
I mean?
has to be the least amount of threes I've ever seen him, because you're talking about a big man who won the 3-point contest. So he shoots them at a high volume. Usually him only taking one just tells you that was a game plan thing. So,
right. So, and that's, listen, it's, you could, the moral victory of this is that they played well against them for most of the game. It wasn't until about 6 minutes left, that the Knicks took the lead, and then then they kept it. It was at that point, once it started to get a 4-point lead for the Knicks, that's where I was, because everything up to that point, the Knicks had taken leads, and it was going back and forth, but it was 1-point lead or 2-point lead by the Knicks.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Sixers would lead by 4.
Yeah.
So it was like they were keeping that stretch alive. But there was times where the Sixers could have extended the lead to 8 and 9 points, and they didn't. And that's where I think that's where they faltered. And it's
well, I mean,
it is what it is.
Anytime you have a 12-point quarter, you're gonna lose. I mean,
well, at least if it's in the last quarter, definitely you're going to lose.
Sure.
In the first quarter, you could come back a little bit,
right?
But it made me nervous that at the end of the third quarter, they were both in the 90s, and I was like, this isn't the game that the Sixers are going to win here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I thought that when it comes to the shootouts, that I watched, where we were at close to 60%. I think it was 57% from the arc. And then that dropped down to 39%, 34. Slowly I was watching it drop, and I'm like, yeah, this is, and it was just bad shots. It was just oh, here we're running down the court. We've got 16 seconds, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Let me put it up there. Ain't nobody under the basket. Nothing happened. You got 3 Knicks under the basket. When you missed the ball, the Knicks got it. Now they're going back down court.
For sure.
It's And really, there were a couple of times where the Knicks all started to go down court, forgot the ball. Like, had a Sixer been there, they could have stolen 2 points.
Yeah.
Like, there was one time it was like, and people are going, "What are you guys doing? There's the ball right here," and nobody wanted the rebounds. And it was like there was a couple of times that was weird like that, where I thought that the Sixers could have taken advantage, but they were too busy running down to the other side of the court. That you get one shot, we miss it, we're down on the other side.
Yeah, that is something that is really frustrating about basketball in general to me. The way the game is today, right? Is that mentality is we're jacking a shot up. It hasn't even made it to the basket yet. The entire team is backpedaling down the floor. It's like, you need someone to go get the ball. But at least pretend like you want an offensive rebound.
Right. You know, and like, yeah, you have a big man. Listen, I mean, and I watched Towns was just being able, like, he boxed him out. Like, there was no like when they had the third string center in there. And what's that guy's name? I'll find out real quick. It's because he actually played well and had open looks and put it in the basket, like when he was doing it. But it was Barlow.
Come on, Barlow.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing okay, but he's not anybody can go up against Towns. This guy hasn't even grown into his body yet. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to put on 40 pounds before he could even, try to not get back down by Towns. You know what I mean? He looked like a beanpole in comparison. And so anytime you, like I said, he got boxed out every time. Like, and it's so much so that, like I said, on the defensive end, George had to cover Towns just because he was just more, equipped to do so. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens the next game. I said that I wanted George to play like 26 minutes. He played 42. He had the 19 points. I was hoping maybe for 16 points.
16, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, that changes the moment that Embiid can't play.
For sure.
But
speaking of a team that, also didn't do well in a quarter, and it was the first quarter, but they sure did not come back.
Yes.
Timberwolves get absolutely smacked in the mouth by the Spurs. Again, I think everybody on the panel assumed the Spurs were still going to win this, even though that first game came down to it. Wemby plays significantly better, and
still hit your under, though. So you played better and hit the under. So everybody wins. Yeah. The difference was they didn't play a bad first quarter. They played a bad first half, coming out with 35 points.
Yes.
So after that terrible first quarter, they didn't improve for the next quarter. And it's
but
you go and
even if they had a decent second quarter, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, that made this a little more fun.
Even if
I fell asleep at halftime.
there is.
I was like, okay, we've got no life. Like, I'm going to bed. So that would have been the only difference. So,
well, and seeing that the Spurs scored 35 points in the second quarter, and that was all they scored in the first half. It's just that. Yeah. Again, you here. Let's go out into the third quarter and see if we can make any type of run. We can't. Sit everybody. That's. I assume that's what they did. Edwards only had 24 minutes. He probably paid 6 minutes into the third quarter, and they said, "All right, you're done."
Yeah. And that was the big thing. But he had there was comments after the game, if you're reading the stuff, he'd actually warned the team against this. He's like, every time a team goes and steals game one, they come out, flat in game two. Like, we can't do that. And the team was like, yeah, we're not listening to you. And that's what happened. So that was just, I did not watch any of the second half. I went ahead and went to sleep.
I mean, you didn't need to.
Yeah.
Because it was more of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the game was over by then. So,
San Antonio won every quarter. So, that being said, I feel that, listen, the Spurs aren't good enough to be able to get their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a real thing. So the fact that they won every quarter actually tells me that that's, that the coach is pushing that. And you're going to need that mentality if you're going to go and win against OKC.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to, but
I don't either. I think that'll be a fun series, though. Like, I think that's probably a 6-game series. OKC wins, but it'll be entertaining.
I even
they don't like each other, and the Spurs won the season series, so I could see a 7-game. Somehow Indiana took the Thunder to 7 games last year, and I thought they were severely overmatched. So I don't know. Wemby gets really competitive when Chet's out there. So
yeah, but I also think OKC has the they get the puckers. I don't know that they're going to get the puckers like that this year.
But they won it all last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think they're going to get. Last year they had the puckers. This year I don't think they're going to have the puckers. Yeah, unless the NBA kind of coerces that.
I think it's 6. I think it's 6. I think the Spurs will snag 2 of them.
Maybe. And they'll be close too. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that those 2 could go either way. I think that when OKC wins, it's going to be a win. When San Antonio wins, if it comes to that, obviously this is still a 1-1 series that's going back to Minnesota. Let's see how Minnesota plays game 2 or game 3. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If they come out strong at home and can steal that game, I see San Antonio getting the puckers.
Yeah. And no, we're not sleeping on the Pistons. I mean, personally, I just don't think the Cavs are that good. So I think you win that. I think you win that series.
We also started off talking about the games that were last night and the Pistons last night. So that was kind of
and like I said, the Pistons have to stop one person, and that's Harden. And I understand that there's more guys on that team, but everything still runs through Harden. So it's until they don't run it through Harden.
Yeah.
The Cavaliers are not going to
win halfway through the year. I think Mitchell is still your best offensive player at this point.
Yeah, but it still has to go through Harden. It's like Mitchell from Harden. You know what I mean? So I feel like that you could definitely you could stymie that entire offense by making Harden feel like he's got to do it all himself.
Absolutely, especially when you look at how he is in the playoffs throughout his career. You want him to have the ball because it doesn't generally work out very well.
So, and I think Detroit knows that.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He'll have a game or 2, right? Like he'll have a day that the shot's just landing, but it won't be the bulk of them.
And not for nothing. I mean, Detroit's got a really good team.
Yeah.
But they are a bunch of B players, I feel like.
They play defense.
There's not and that's part of it. You got to play the defense. If you're going to be all B players like that, there's not an A+ player on that team. That they're all like B+ players. And you could win a championship with B+ players. You know 100%. What I mean? It's especially when you're playing defense. And that's what they do best. And that's why I think because when you have a couple of A+ and then a couple of C's, you know what I mean? You stop those A+, and now all of a sudden the C's can't carry the team, which I think the Knicks are. You know what I mean? They have, Brunson. They have Towns. Yeah, you could say Bridges, but I put Bridges as a B. You know what I mean? But I have those A's, and then everybody else on that team is like a C. Yeah. So it's like they can, they're a good team, but they're not. Those guys can't carry the team. It's going to be one of those 3 that have to carry the team.
And yes, Cade Cunningham, I would put in the A+ category or in the A category, however you want to say it. for Detroit.
Yeah, no, like I said, I would give him like an A, like an A minus. He's not like the household name. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Like it's like you think of that. He's not in the talk for MVP. He might be, he might should be, but he's not. You know what I mean? He plays great defense. He's able to put the the ball in the net. You know what I mean? Like those are things that you want on your team.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have the name. Yeah. Tobias Harris is on that team. And it amazes me how well he does on that team. That he's looked at as one of the leaders. And he's probably the vocal leader on that team, without a doubt. Because he was the vocal guy, he was the most vocal guy on the Sixers when he was here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, exactly. And that's exactly it. Yeah,
no.
I mean, so yes, all right, so and there we have you guys are kind of talking about my point there a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I said, he's just not that household name, because you have to almost, in basketball, you almost have to become a household name before you can win the MVP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they do everything well as a team.
Right. That's how they won their last title, was not having a great, but having a solid team across the board.
Yeah.
Because they beat a star-studded team in the Lakers when they came up against them. So,
and Cam, you're right. I mean, Cade was in that conversation, but I agree with Raj here. Is he's not there yet.
Yeah. Getting really close to winning a championship, though, will get you there. Like, sure. I don't know if they're strong enough to beat OKC. However, OKC hasn't played against a team that has got as good a defense and plays as good a defense as Detroit does. So that'll be an interesting series to watch in general. I would give Detroit more than a puncher's chance, because I just don't 100% trust OKC. I think that that sometimes they fold.
Yeah, if the refs are injured.
Yeah, and
this is where I'm at. And nobody coming out of the East is going to beat either one that's probably coming out of the West. That's my thought on it.
Yeah,
right. I give Detroit the biggest puncher's chance.
Yeah, defensively, I guess, but OKC plays great defense. And so at some point you've got to have somebody other than Cade that can get you a bucket, and an easy bucket. So
yeah.
Well, that's where Tobias Harris, at least he's got the ability to kind of do that, and has some of the veteran leadership to be able to do that. Again, you got to be there.
Yep.
Yeah,
it definitely looks like we're headed towards Detroit, Knicks, Spurs, and OKC.
At the moment,
easily.
Yeah, at the moment, we have to see what happens on the home games here.
Yeah, well, and I mean, injuries happen throughout too that can change games. I mean, you got to play them all, but yeah, right. that is the way that it looks for sure.
Right. I can say that confidently right here, and then next week be totally wrong, and that's fine, because that's how it's happened so far in the mornings. So I'm used to that.
Oh, I thought you were just putting that little slide in of I'm leaving, so there's no recourse for me.
No, I'll say that tomorrow. I'll make all these bold predictions tomorrow, and then I'll be gone, and nobody can call me out. So, yeah, one more day before I start.
Appreciate that. Ridiculous. Appreciate the sub. That is hilarious. No, I liked that that Wen started out with the trying to make you feel bad about leaving. Like, hi guys, glad we still see Herb.
Like, oh, thanks.
So good.
Win wants me to cry tomorrow morning. That's what it is.
100%. 100%. I got to crop out the door slamming sound. That way at the end, be like, this is her bleeding. Like, so hockey is also going on right now. And there was even some games.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and first off, I know, I was so frustrated on how the NHL did the Flyers. They're like, hey, there's no games being played on this day. We need to have a game played. So let's race you to get over there. But the Canadians, Canada's last hope, let's give them 4 days off so that they can do. Not only are we going to give them 4 days off after they just had a game 7, but let's make the Sabers look, wait like for a full week so that they could be rusty. That didn't work.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't matter because Sabers came out and did some work.
A couple of power play goals, and they got outshot and outworked in the third period, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I think that the Sabers, the Sabers are a young team, and so are the Canadians. I'm surprised at how quickly the Sabers were able to come together. So they really, I got to say, that's probably more coaching than anything else, that the coach really has got everybody on that team on the same page. And, they bought into that entire system, and that's what's working for them. Plus they have a decent goaltender who's, doing enough to get the wins.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, guess what? It doesn't matter what you do, Bettman. No Canadian team is going to win the cup for 10 more years. I think that they own hockey, and that's why he does some of these things. Yeah, let's give Toronto the first pick, which is still in contention right now. That could be the Flyers' pick. They have to go figure it out. If the Flyers get that first pick in the draft, we may have found our goal scorer. I'd be really excited about that. I don't think that the NHL is going to rule for us, though.
We already rolled that out, Scott. But if you didn't hit the QR code earlier, you can now.
If you want to bet that the Flyers are not going to get that first pick in the draft, I would be willing to bet that that's probably a good bet.
I don't know if you can still bet on that.
Well, like I said, it's there's some confusion on this, and the Flyers should get it. The Flyers should get this pick. It's, I don't know. I think the NHL is going to rule against them because that's what they do. They got to protect the Canadian teams. Doesn't matter that Toronto hasn't won since, I don't know, dinosaurs were roaming the earth. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And yes, Scott, they did. They did get the first pick in the draft or in the lottery there.
So, but to explain to people, the Flyers and the Flyers.
Yeah, so it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has been a minute. It's going on 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Anyways, the Flyers made a trade of Scott Lawton to Toronto, and Toronto was supposed to give us a first-round pick. And something about it being protected in, like, this pick has been kind of traveling up, like, oh, it's protected, oh, it's protected, it's protected. Well, last year it was supposed to be unprotected. So the fact that they won the first pick in the draft, they're seeing how everything is worded in the contract or the way this trade was done, because the Flyers are making a claim that they have now the first pick in the draft. And if we have the first pick in the draft, the guy that is there to be taken is similar to like a Crosby.
Okay.
Like that's how he's looked at. It's just that he's got the stick handling ability. He's got the ability to put the puck in the net like that, and that he's young. He's like a kid still, and that he's going to be able to take over this league very quickly.
Hmm.
I don't know that the NHL is going to give anybody like that to the Flyers.
No, absolutely not.
So it's, but it would change the trajectory of the Flyers. Like like I said, I haven't been quiet about the fact that I do not believe that the Flyers were going to win this series. I thought that this was a learning experience for them, and that would be amazing. Like I said, we have Noah Cates is going to be out for the rest of this series, so they brought up Jet Luchenko. Jet is very quick. It's funny that his name is Jet. His real name is Jet. He's very quick, and he's still got to figure out how to play in the NHL level a little bit. But not a goal scorer. He's an assist guy. That's where he's best suited. He's not going to be the guy that scores goals. But if you can get into open space, he can do tape to tape passes, which is really important in the playoffs. But
and Brian, I agree with this. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the Canadian teams, but protecting the original teams. I would agree with that.
100%. I can't argue with that thought process. But they also do the same thing for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, kid out of Penn State.
Is it McCabe or something like that? I think it's McCabe. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm so bad with names. I know not to mention names, but that's who I'm talking about. That kid, and I know that he's got the felony, but that felony got dropped because ultimately it was like, well, he got, he knocked somebody out because we can't talk about it on here without using the word that that the other kid used on his mother. You know what I mean? And and that's what
Belgium in the house.
What's up?
Let's go.
Oh yeah,
international.
I like it. Yeah, no. See, that is the downside to the radio show end of it. Is some of those quotes you can't put out there.
but all that stuff wound up being dropped. They found that he was in the right, or that everything went as he said it did. So all the felony. Yeah, he's also a Seattle Seahawks fan. So I know him. We have met.
Nice. They also make really good defensive line and linebackers in football.
Exactly.
In fact, I heard a comedian yesterday, and it was hilarious. He was just like, yeah, I really want my quarterback to have gone to like an Ivy League school, have two parents, really happy home. And then he was like, now on my defense, I want it to be a broken home. We're going to actually have a seat midfield. And we're like, hey, we found your dad. He's going to come to a game and then be like, he's not here again, just to make him mad so that he plays good during the game. I was like, that is messed up.
Anthony, it gets old. Maybe you should come up with better content. You live in Kensington, right? I know, because that's what you say. You live in Kensington. It's like, yeah, whatever. I make money doing this. You live in Kensington.
Yeah.
Love the haters. Love the haters. Welcome them all the time.
Exactly. They tune in. You do got to get more creative. Obviously, for our radio show, you don't know what he's writing, but if you pop over to our YouTube channel, you can see what kind of ridiculous stuff happens in our chat. And but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna troll the show, at least make it funny. Like we enjoy trolls. So like we're not opposed to it, but at least like mix it up and make it fun.
They don't. Yeah,
They don't.
because
But
the worst
we don't.
trolls don't they? Like, I'm just going to say the same thing over and over and over again, and think maybe it's going to be somebody's going to believe it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and we don't take ourselves that seriously. So if we find one of them funny, we will laugh at it. Like, be like,
post it for everybody to see.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoy the creativity.
I've already been blamed for the dinosaurs. You know, the comment that killed the dinosaurs. And there's nothing that you could say that's going to make me flinch.
Yeah.
Especially when you're from Kensington.
I like that you're just burying a town now.
Yeah, whatever. You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
So, Anthony, the funny thing is you're going to go to the games and not support our kids. You're supporting us by watching. That's how we get paid. So, thanks for tuning in.
And Anthony's never met me. He has no idea who I am and how I am. And the fact that I'm a veteran and all this other stuff. He just lives in Kensington. And I don't know if you want to find out about what Kensington's all about, listen, and I'm from Philadelphia. All you got to do is just put Kensington. Hey, listen, there are no viewers in Kensington except Anthony.
Should change color. No, he has to be this color because it is National Strawberry Month. And so
there we go.
Actually, I have to go do a commercial after this, so that's why I'm all painted up right now.
Yeah.
It's like right after the show, I have to go run and do a commercial. So,
man,
hey, listen, it all is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah. Hey, some of the haters are the haters. You know what I mean? Let them do their thing. I just sometimes have to respond because Anthony likes to troll all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is
it's called jealousy at its finest, is what it is. He is very jealous of me. So that's why it's like, man, I see this guy everywhere. He's all over billboards. He's all doing this. He's all doing that. Let me just come up with something really, maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know, but whatever.
Yes.
He obviously has no idea.
Obviously, he should be in all the Seahawks colors.
You're right. I would never walk in Kensington, period.
Yeah. That was the obvious one coming there. Like,
he's from Philly. He's from Philly. But anyways, yeah, I'm not going to give any more credence to the troll.
On the plus side, thanks for all the watch hours.
Exactly. Every time you type something in, it just brings us more, the algorithm gets better and better.
Absolutely. Yes, exactly. Even the nuts. Yes.
Anyways, Flyers tonight. That's happening. We'll see. I keep saying that I think that they're going to win this game. So with the extra day of rest, I still think that we're going to win this game. The next game is going to be the heartbreaker because I think that'll go to overtime.
Dang.
And we'll lose it.
Yeah, that's very specific.
Yeah.
I just because I can foresee it. I know that it would be great to steal that second game at home. I just don't believe that it'll happen. It's like this is going to go exactly how I think it is, and Carolina's just too good of a team. And the Flyers need to learn these lessons. Those are the lessons I want them to learn. I don't want them to get their brakes beaten. You know what I mean? I don't want them to get crushed. Yeah. That's not a learning experience. That gets more frustrating. I want them to learn all of the lessons they need to learn now so that next year they make the right step. And again, if we happen to get the the lucky break and get the first pick in the draft, then things could, change for us dramatically.
Herb's not dying. Like we'll still see him again. Like not on this show, but
yeah.
Right?
Hey, and we're trying to talk him out of it. We are trying to talk him out.
Yes, actively. But so we appreciate the assist of all of you being like, hey, how about maybe no? Like
Thank you, Mom. I appreciate you.
So, before we get out of here, there is a receiver that you don't have to worry about going to jail if you're a team that still needs one. Diggs gets found not guilty on all counts. And so where do you think he's going to go? What team do you think could use a head case that for 1 year?
Pittsburgh.
So it's funny because
they're full up. Yeah.
A lot of people have said that, but I mean, it would be funny, and I hope it happens. I don't know that Houston would do that again. I could see the Bills maybe doing it again. I could see KC absolutely trying to grab him.
KC is who came to mind for me. Like, hey, we've only got a couple more shots at this. We'll take you for a year before you go crazy.
There is no way he should go to Vegas, Scott. Like that would be, you're talking about a guy that has a hard time doing the right things. I don't think he needs to be in Vegas.
Yes.
Green Bay, maybe.
He's getting arrested before the preseason gets started. If he's
exactly, and then has like 4 more kids on the way, and like, I mean, that seems like a disaster.
Yes.
Now I'm here for it if they do it.
Yeah.
Actually, Joe, we don't choose players like that. That's a Dallas thing to do.
Yeah, but Dallas already has Pickens, so they're full up right now.
The thing that's funny though is Dallas would actually be a really great spot for him in the way of, imagine him as your slot receiver. Like he's torching every nickel or outside linebacker that lines up on him.
Except in the Eagles, where we're probably going to wind up with the best secondary in the league. Maybe quite ever.
But he's trying to talk in general, not like Philly specific. Like, he would be great. But I want the bet how many games before he and Pickens get into a fight. That's what I really want to see.
Games? Talking practice. Practice.
Yeah,
the thing is even against Philly, your nickel corner is going to be Woolen. He can beat Woolen. We watched him beat Woolen. Like, happen to know for a fact. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of frustration. No big deal. But yeah, no, on Dallas would make some sense. I don't think they do it, but I mean, if he was your third option, that's huge. I don't see Minnesota doing that either.
No, they're not bringing him back.
No,
they don't have the cap space to do it anyway, even though he's not going to command any kind of money.
Right.
It would be, there is no chance that we're full up at the receiver position and not a good culture fit. And if there's something about Seattle really through the course of their entire history, culture is a thing here.
That being said, we're at the top of the hour.
It sure is. If you are listening on 97.3 ICU radio, be sure to stay tuned. Some smooth jazz coming your way. And of course, on every other platform, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, tune in tomorrow because Herb is running away. And so we got to make him feel bad about it. So be sure to tune in.
I'm looking forward to that.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Peace.